Hello. Welcome to my first live stream on my very own YouTube channel. Um, it's nice to have a couple of people here in the chat, I see. Thanks, Claire, for waking up very early in Adelaide and joining us, and Eliza, Bill, whoever's here. Let me know in the chat where you're joining from. It's really nice to have you here. And I just thought I'd show you some stuff while wait for a couple of people to arrive, perhaps. And yeah, what I'm doing today is the giveaway live stream for reaching 15,000 followers on Instagram. So thank you very much to each of my followers. It's awesome being able to share my work with you and draw with so many of you. It's really an honor and a pleasure. Hi, Shannon and Andrea. Yeah, it's just so cool having this space, international online space between us. Oh, I'm just getting little notifications from YouTube Studio. First time I've been in this position. All the live streams I've done with Sketchy, Sketchy has been there too. So I'm using different software today and just seeing different things happen. So we'll just see how things turn out. I'm sure it's going to be great fun. Cool. Bill from Baton Rouge. Is it pronounced in a French way? That'd be interesting to know. Eliza in Philadelphia, Claire in Adelaide, South Australia, where I herald from. Andrea from Rheinbreitbach in Germany, where I now live. Roseanne from Maine. It's wonderful having you here. So yeah, I want to show you some stuff before we start drawing. Where's my stuff? If I do this, yeah, then you see my stuff. I'm going to be working with stick pens. It's Inktober. This is no official Inktober thing, but I love ink, and so it's nice to have a reason to play with ink, as if I needed one. Bill says, yes, the French pronunciation is good, and Eliza says it's Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. Cool. Mandy from Baltimore, wonderful having you here. Yeah, so here's some stuff. I got some stick pens. Here are a couple of sticks that I found today. I really like this one. This is an elder branch. It's just kind of like a wand, and this is from a beech tree. This is my Inktober work so far. This is the first page of my Inktober zine. Maybe you saw my YouTube video that I posted yesterday, the process for this one. An empty zine, first page. And parallel to Inktober, there's also Liltober, which is happening. And this there are lots of challenges happening this month, by the way. And Liltober, this wonderful muse, Lillian, has created her own set of prompts and reference photos, and this was refraction. And another cool thing is I finally have these zines printed. And I've spent a couple hours today cutting out zines. So this is something I do a lot. Anke's here from Oldenburg, awesome. I've got something to send you, Anke. And once it's cut up and folded, it looks like this. This is a smaller one, and this one has a bunch of portraits of people who drew me. Here's Shannon, who I think is here. Yeah, so I've been busy getting zines ready. That one. And this one, I've been a little bit behind, but I'm catching up, and I'm really happy to get these out into the world. This was my Australian Black History Month zine. A lot of inspirational, amazing people and stories from Indigenous Australia. Yeah, so that was, it feels really good to get these ready and almost have these ready to go out into the world. This is pretty special, I think. It folds out into this large format. It's just such a cool thing, these zines. So if you're interested in zine, you can sign up on Patreon, and this is going to be this month's zine. And let's draw Maria. Here is Maria. So Maria is from Bulgaria, where I've been to many, many moons and suns ago. And it was a beautiful, inspiring country. Remember, yeah, Sofia and Varna and the countryside there was really nice. Traveling through Eastern Europe, coming from Australia, was really amazing. So different to what I knew growing up in Australia. So Maria has said, I just asked if there's something I could say on Maria's behalf. It was that Maria's happy to have won because they really like my portraits. Thank you very much, Maria. And you wish me inspiration, creative success, and many followers. Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for the well wishes, and I hope you're going to enjoy what everyone does here today. Yeah, Claire, it is lovely seeing these Drawing with Dylan people, right? If you're going to post any of this on Instagram, you could use the hashtag Drawing with Dylan. I have a couple of different papers I'm going to use. This is the Hanemühle Nostalgie, which is a paper I use a lot. I really like it. And I'm going to start with something pretty loose and move along to a heavyweight paper. And I'm going to be focusing on stick pens. What's everyone else going to be drawing with? What supplies have you got with you? Yeah, so the reference, if you haven't already got it, there's a link below, and you can download the reference from there, or you can draw straight from the screen. Sibylla, cool. Peggy, hello. It is so good to see these Drawing with Dylan people here, which is a Tuesday and Friday live Zoom sketch session which I host, and would love everyone to come visit and draw at. Blackie Francis is here too, cool. Badzaxa NT, that's like really close to here, cool. Yeah, let's draw. So I'm about to upload, I've finished editing my latest Patreon video where I drew Kira a bunch of times, and it was so hard. I had a rough time of it. And in the end, I did a lot of loose sketches. So I'm going to do some quick loose sketches to kind of start this. I've done one sketch so far based on this reference. But it's just such a good way to loosen up and get into it, start to get familiar with the face. And so you can draw along, do what you like. If anyone has any particular questions, feel free to ask. And let's start drawing. The hairline here is just kind of grabbed my attention, so I'll just start there. And, nice eyebrow shape, just trying to take note, be aware of the relationship between the different shapes, and it's helpful in this sense. You can do it from somewhere else to the paper, but when the image is right next to the drawing, your reference, it's still visible here. Betty Page. Oh, you're back in the Hearts. You were also you're in Duderstadt recently as well, right? Or you're still on vacation? Great to have you with us. And yeah, Betty Page, Nadine, right? Awesome, nice to have you here. There's this nice kind of straight drop down on the cheek here, and the little indentation that then goes down to the chin. This kind of, it's a nice, it's kind of straight, but yeah, got like this gentle curve wrapping around the nose. So this is the kind of thing I practice a lot. Just doing these quick drawings with the 2 drawing sessions a week. It's been really good practice for me. It's just so good drawing lots of faces, and whenever I get bogged down and like I haven't uploaded it yet, but for my Patreon tutorial followers, subscribers, you'll see soon. I had such a hard time drawing Kira. And yeah, when I get bogged down in something and I don't know, I guess have kind of expectations, it can get pretty difficult. So it's just always good, I feel, in those moments where you're feeling stuck, just to do something quick and loosen up. And the way I'm working here, this is also an Inktense pencil. They're very cool. Or are you just commenting on what I'm using? Blackie Francis Inktense pencil on Nostalgie paper. So as I'm drawing here, I'm just always kind of looking and comparing, like, where's the corner of that eye compared to here, and just always checking in, taking store. This is the kind of thing that I say a lot, but just measuring by eye to see the way things relate to each other, and then doing my best to then kind of put it in the place where I think it wants to be. So there's a lot to be said for having a really clear kind of understanding of all the anatomy. And I've spent time kind of going through anatomy books and did a lot of Proco lessons, and it's super interesting and awesome to learn this stuff. But I feel like it always comes back to just looking, learning to see what you're looking at. Oh, Peggy's using a stick pen and acorn ink. Excellent. That's very cool. Microns and markers. Pencil and recycled printer paper is very good. Cool. This is feeling good. This drawing. Sometimes I like to start a few or a couple, but this is already feeling pretty good with this. But the idea of this was to start loosely. I don't know, do we start a new one or just keep working on this? And at any time, ask questions. I'll endeavour to read and respond. Ask me anything you want, really. Whether it's related to ink, drawing, making ink, what I got up to today, whatever. I think there's an interesting space here. It's quite dark, so it's could almost just be one block of ink here. There is some subtle difference in this point here. Oops. But I like to. It's a treat working from black and white photos because they're already kind of reduced in the information that you're taking in. But the more you practice and look at color photos, you start to see the same things with the shifts in values, especially if you squint. It simplifies what you're looking at. But something I really love is the simplification of these big shapes. Like, instead of just drawing the eyebrow like this, it's extending out into this shadow here, and there's a shadow here, and those blocks of shadow, something I just find really appealing. And it's just a great kind of simplification for looking at things and drawing things. I think maybe the eye, one eye is too high, one eye is too low, but whatever. Still like the drawing. Yeah, that's a good one, Shannon, that part of learning anatomy is kind of not thinking about it anymore, but being able to see more. And yeah, that feeling of like focus of learning anatomy and where things actually are and maybe even what they're actually called, and kind of figuring out all that structure, but then being able to relax into looking and recognizing things is it's a nice kind of journey. And that that focus and then the expanding into just observing, and yeah, it's interesting. To get as into this hand as you want to, I guess. But I like this. These are just wondering, do I start another one? I've got this other paper which really likes getting wet, but maybe I could just do a really quick. I'm going to get my ink pens onto this. You could, of course, start directly with ink, but sometimes it's nice to have a pencil drawing as well. So I'll just kind of quickly kind of go through here and fill out some spaces. Oh, let's go into flight mode. Yeah, I'll just ink this a bit and see how we go. So yeah, these broad edge drawing tools is something I really like, and thought this coming Friday I'll post a pen making tutorial for those who've not already seen me in live streams or the Ink Naturally class. I have shown my kind of method of pen making a few times, but it's this particular style of pen is something I really enjoy working with and enjoy making and enjoy finding really cool branches to turn into pens, like this one. It's like not very, I don't know, it's a very practical shape, but it's, I find it quite appealing. So yeah, the cool thing about making your own drawing tools is that you can experiment with different sizes and shapes, and you can just chew on a stick to make some bristles. If it's not poisonous wood, don't chew on a yew stick. Or it's good to do your research and find out what you're working with. But there are many plants, fruit trees, cherry, birch, like there apple tree. Yeah, that'll make a good pen. I really like plants that have like a hollow interior. The pith, which is something which is really good for these style of pens because they can hold a bit of ink inside. Thank you for asking, Eliza. But this is a beech twig, and it doesn't have that soft inner core. But you can still totally use it. You can use bamboo, chopsticks. I know that some people who did my Ink Naturally class carved pens from their chopsticks. But yeah, apple's totally a good one. I have some apple bark that Yulka sent me last year, and I'm gonna make ink with it this month, and I'm really excited to make some Finnish apple bark ink. Whoa, a lot of ink on there. It's good to tap the end of the pen against the inside of the jar, because you can have these kind of mishaps where you're just like loaded up with ink, and especially if you're doing something kind of delicate like eyelashes, and then you've got this big blob of ink. Just tap it against the edge of the jar like that, and often that's enough just to get rid of that excess ink. So what's happening in Bad Sachse, Betty Page? I used to do youth work, and it's in Bad Sachse that they have this ice skating place. Hurt my knees there a couple of times, crashing onto the ice. But also went to some place to swim with these kids I was working with. It's a beautiful area. The Harz, these mountains and forests in central Germany. This is a cool big dark space. I'm not going to fill that in now because I'll probably go and put my hand in it. But there's something I like about this broad edge as well, is you can just kind of drop ink in there and push it around almost like a brush. You can, there's a bit much ink on here after just talking about how you can get rid of that excess ink. And I like with this, if you're fully loaded with ink, with this Acorn ink, this one is really dark. When I started making this ink, I guess because my iron was not as, it's acorn, like acorn broth and rust. The iron makes it really nice and dark. When I started making it, I guess because I lost the highlight. Oh well. Yeah, when I started making the ink, I had this really lovely dark brown color. But now that my vinegar and rust mix has been kind of maturing for years, I guess I have this really intense iron that I add to the acorn broth, and it just this is the blackest I've ever had it be, which is awesome. I also really enjoyed the dark brown that I used to get from it. I guess I just need to start a fresh batch of iron. Yeah, something I was going to say, when it's fully loaded, you get this really intense dark blackness or intense saturation. But as that lessens, then there's this really wonderful kind of grey, and for those mid-tones, you can take a bit of that. You can also like mix it with water, but you can get some cool kind of dry brushing effect. If you just like push it out, I think it's can be really nice. Maybe there's a lot of ink on that eye there. So I'll be sending this original, all these originals, see how we go, to Maria for winning the giveaway. It was lovely to have so many people participate. And so many people I asked, what's your favorite medium for sketching in? And it was awesome to hear from so many people what they like sketching with. It's great. I want to fill in a bit of shadow in here. But this area I was talking about before that looks really dark. But if it goes in there too black, it's just gonna, I don't know, might be a bit much. I think it could be awesome if it was kind of grey. So see if I can soak some of that up. Paper towel is a really useful tool, I find, while working with ink. If you want to lessen the intensity, or yeah, you've got blobs, or you can also push ink around with it for like shading big areas. It's cool too. If you're not using ink, like pencil, I think the same approach of like getting those, doing that shadow mapping, drawing those big shapes from the beginning, rather than filling it with ink, you can just hatch it to fill it. It's also really cool. Like essentially using the same way of laying out the drawing and just hatching rather than blocking it in with ink. I'm just gonna have a look over here. How's everyone going so far? Yeah. I was just checking to see how it looks, wondering what it looks from the other side. So I would like to do this regularly. Something I thought about and talked about for a long time. Like after having done like one a week for, I think it was like from April until October last year. I did one live stream a week, drinking a glass of wine and drawing with Dylan. That's great, Patrick. Nice to have you here as well. Claire's has 5 a.m. vibes. Awesome. Dreamy. Yeah, so Claire, by the way, my sister who's in the chat, who is awake very early in Adelaide, South Australia, recently started a YouTube channel, which is awesome, and inspired me to YouTube. So I'm kind of dedicating myself to a weekly rhythm of uploading something. Could be a full process or it could be a time lapse, and yeah, and I think maybe like a live stream a month or maybe more regularly. Something I'd really like to do. So if that's something you'd like as well, let me know. Ah, Maria's here. Awesome. Thank you. Nice to be drawing you. Yeah, so if you're interested, like this and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thank you very much to those who have. Yeah, and just it'd be nice to see what we can draw together throughout the months and years. I think that'd be really cool. And I have this idea because I have Patreon where I do monthly video tutorials, and which is where talk through my process and address different topics that people would like to know about or have challenges with, challenge myself with them. And I think it'd be really cool, like, to do this and to do that. And I have this idea of doing this little fly here. They like my natural inks. I sometimes get these little flies flying around. I have this idea as because it's been really cool with Patreon. There's more and more people coming to it, so thank you to everyone who's joined my Patreon. It's been great, and sometime soon, like once we have enough people that are interested, I'd like to do like a monthly Zoom class, which is more focused on the content of the tutorial from that month. So as opposed to the sketch sessions where we just draw each other and have fun and chat, it's going to be will be classes that will be specifically addressing what we've been doing in the Patreon class. And these YouTube live stream things will just be like whatever I want to do, I guess. Jutta, Oma Mate, Anja. Cool. Ohrensessel. What's an Ohrensessel? It's like an ear couch seat with two cats squeezed in. I've never heard the term Ohrensessel before. Yeah, so that's kind of, I have this, I'm not gonna put in my password while I've got this up on YouTube. My code. I don't know, this how's this drawing going? I was thinking of starting another one, so like I feel like this is pretty cool, and now I'm just kind of talking instead of drawing. Maybe it's enough. I can start another one. Yeah, so I have like this vision of like all the stuff that I share for free, which is awesome. And then for people who have money and want to do the Patreon classes, then that's awesome too. And I just love the whole online community of art making. It's really a treat being able to connect and draw with so many of you. Armchair. An Ohrensessel is an armchair. Okay. I'm just imagining these big ears on the chair. Kind of already just happy with that. But I said I'd try another one as well. So I've got some other paper. We still have time. Here's a portrait I did of my grandfather on his 90th birthday. I couldn't be there because he lives on the other side of the world. But this was a natural ink portrait of Arthur Keith Jones. And there's some space here. This is a 425 gram watercolor paper, Aquarelle by Hahnemühle. And it's another one that I really like and use a lot. And coincidentally, Hahnemühle is based in a town which is really close to where I live. So it's almost like local paper, but I don't know where the pulp for the paper comes from. Yeah. I don't know. What can I do differently this time? Yes, Clay, Grandad is a handsome fellow, isn't he? Oh, the internet is no good in our hearts. That is unfortunate. What could be different this time? So I'm kind of like that. That was a nice drawing. Watching from Dubai, Cray Moon. Awesome, nice to have you here. If anyone has joined since we did the introduction round, let me know where you're from and what you're drawing with, if you're drawing along. And if you're just watching, or drinking a glass of wine or tea, yeah, you could tell us what you're up to. What are you doing? I'm doing Maria's portrait, and it's so cool that you're able to join us, Maria. I think Maria's out hiking at the moment, a hiking weekend. So, what should I do differently this time? Yeah, let's go to the Hanamula factory together, Eliza. That would be awesome. Wing chair. Once I've finished here, I'll have to look up wing chairs on Google with the wings, the ears. It's like these ears have just gotten bigger with the term wing chair. Okay, so I have this pen. Maybe I'll do my line drawing with that, and then add some stick pen stickiness to it. So maybe that's what I'm going to do now. I want to get a bit further over my paper here. You're still going to see me. All right. We'll just start with the eyes. I don't even know if I need to use this pen, but I could just go straight to stick pen. But I had it in the post and the promo photos that I made for this, so why not use it? It's a pen that I like to use often. Use a lot in the drawing with Dylan sessions, Tuesdays and Fridays. So how could I look at this differently? Looking at those blocks of inky darkness, that might be a fun way to kind of make some shapes. Try and look at shapes instead of lines. And a stick pen is really a great tool for doing blocky shapes instead of lines. But just try it like this. I'm reading the response to my question a bit late. Maybe I can interrupt this, because that's a really cool suggestion. Doing a quick sketch, like 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you, Nadine, for the suggestion. I think that's a cool idea. That may kind of freshen things up a bit. So this is a good pen for a quick sketch. Hi, Stephanie. Art Eagle, right? From Marburg. I'm going to do a 1 or 2 minute, or 1 and a 2 minute sketch, and then I'll return to your question, Eliza. Self-made walnut ink on very ordinary paper. Excellent, excellent. So 1 or 2 minute sketches. I can put a timer on. Because this is what we do a lot in the Drawing with Dylan sessions, doing really quick time sketches. So, all right, 1 minute. I'll just you can sit back and watch, or you can do your own 1 minute sketch. This is actually like has turned into like the core of my artistic practice, I guess, all these quick sketches in our portrait sessions. Where you just it's like, I don't have much time, I've just got to start drawing, and then and it's amazing, like in 1 minute you can do as much as 20, it feels like, unless my timer's not working. Surely 1 minute's over, right? Did I not hit start on? Oh, there we go. That was 1 minute. Yeah, cool. Thank you for the suggestion, Betty Page. That was cool. Nice way to change things a bit. I don't know, is it even worth doing a 2-minute drawing? That was cool. Yeah, that's nice. I think that's it. That'll do. I'll return to this other drawing after that nice little 1-minute drawing. Thank you for contributing and mixing things up a bit. That was nice. Boom. So Eliza, do I find that the ink makes it really hard to do subtle shadows? If you've got time to let it dry, I'll keep drawing as I answer this question. And by the way, there's a really cool feature where you can like bring up the comment and highlight it in the on the screen, and then everyone can see the question, and then I can respond to that question. But I'm using this OBS software, and there's like this kind of thing I have to do. Next time I do a live stream, I should be able to highlight people's comments and questions. That'll be fun. Do not be intimidated by beautiful faces, Betty Page. Just go for it. Just, you know, the quirkiness and the things that happen as you like, just go for it. That can be really delightful, can be strange, but just go for it. Draw, draw, draw. Yeah, so for future live streams, maybe I'll be able to highlight people's comments and stuff. Yeah, so that my grandfather's picture was quite subtle. Ink washes, when you have more time, and you can really let things dry and build it up and go away, come back, let a layer dry and just, oh, I've got his picture right here, right? So this was avocado ink, and I think this is red cabbage or something. And so I did it with a brush, and I mixed it with, there's a little bit of pen work in here as well, a lot of brush work. By diluting the ink just with water, you then have a lighter ink. And so you can get a lot of subtlety by using a lighter ink and building it up. And you can take any really dark ink as well and just add some water, like have a plate nearby or a test sheet, and you can really build up really lovely layers and get a really subtle ink wash effect. So that's the ink wash thing, which I really like doing as well. So thank you for asking that very good question. Where's this nose? Oh, I'm focusing on shapes, right? So see these shadowy shapes. It would definitely become strange. That's fine. I'm a big fan of strange. Just go. I've done a lot of strange drawings. I've drawn so many portraits and made people look quite strange. Just like a couple of days ago, when I was recording a tutorial video. For those of you who watch it, please let me know. I'm finished editing. I'm going to upload it to Patreon. Jane had a really great question, which was like, how do you go about drawing someone that you can't really draw? Like when you, bye-bye, Eliza, thanks for joining. So there are, oh, I've made this distance a bit small between the nose and the lips. Oh well. If you find it really challenging to get a likeness with someone, how do you deal with it? So that was like my challenge in the video that I recorded this week for Patreon. And I was thinking, oh, well, I practiced so much. It's going to be, I'll just hypothetically talk about how I used to deal with it. But Kira is the person who my wife is the person who I have always had the most trouble and biggest challenge drawing. And so I chose Kira to draw, and it was so hard. I had a really hard time of it. So that video will be on Patreon soon. Me suffering through drawing my lovely wife. It turned out all right in the end. I pushed through. I transcended the suffering. I was really suffering, but it was good. I can't remember what started that kind of tangent. If anyone has any questions you'd like me to reply to instead of just rambling, please ask. So I'm drawing all these shapes with the same kind of idea. You could hatch all this in, hatch. But I've got this idea, I'm just like drawing these shadow shapes, and you could then proceed to like brush in the shadows or use the stick pen to fill in those spaces. Maybe here I can kind of indicate that there is a bit of some subtle variation happening in here, because there's like it looks really lovely actually. The subtlety within the darkness in that part of the eye. Yeah, Patrick and Shannon. And Nadine. Everyone feel free to chime in the chat about how you have a hard time drawing your loved ones. It's good to know that we're not alone, that it's just so hard. So in the video, in the tutorial, I had some really good ideas for how to like check things, to compare things and see what you're looking at and what's different. But I'm not sure to what percent I was kind of like teaching and to what percent I was just suffering. So it's I think it's really interesting. Bye-bye, Anka. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear how you viewers go viewing it. Who else here has a YouTube channel? That'd be interesting to know. Shannon, working on your first. Am I allowed to say this? I don't know. I'm pretty excited, and I want other people to be excited too. Shannon is making something. That's cool. I'm the only person Claire can draw well. It's just like from the bottom of the face, you can just like black hair, and there's this round thing at the top. And I'd like to send me some of the photos, some of the drawings you've done of me, Claire. Claire has been coming to Friday morning sketch sessions, which is really cool. That was part of the reason I started these Friday. It's my time, Friday morning. For Claire, it's late afternoon, evening in South Australia. So I started this second sketch session so I could hang out with my family and so that people from other time zones could come join us. But it's funny because sometimes it's like it's a family reunion as well as a portrait sketch session. It's nice. It's kind of like the most time we've been able to spend with each other in the past years, unfortunately, but nice that we've got it. Anya, my family has to suffer too. I produced little strange paintings of them. Excellent. And Patrick says, my cat is the only family member that you can draw well. That's great. Yeah, it's interesting, that idea that it has to be 1000% perfect for loved ones. And there have been like key moments throughout the whole artistic development, my own, I presume for other people as well. I speak for myself. Where it's like you just kind of or I had this idea or ideal that I would want to portray and like cling so tight to that I just wouldn't do anything and just kind of freeze the fear of what I might do to the painting. And that process of learning to let go, to loosen up, um, is just so important, such a valuable thing to learn. And it's applicable in much more than just drawing and painting. Being able to be free of, you know, the stuff that we tell ourselves or think or feel, and or be able to do things even though we feel that way and just kind of go for it. And by going through that, then we're able to progress and develop and learn and grow, and it's cool. Kids are the hardest. Yes, Peggy, that is, kids are difficult. And they think that if you make them look weird, they think there's something wrong with them and not with your drawing skill. Yeah, you draw someone and it's a bit off, and then they look at it, it's like, oh, is that how I'm perceived? And it's like, oh, that's my level of drawing ability. I know that feeling. Yeah, Shannon. Maybe when we draw all those pictures of our family, practice, 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 we become experts at drawing strangers. We can learn to see our loved ones as strangers. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Anya's daughter's the hardest critic. That's rough. When you draw someone and like, change this aspect of me. Draw me like this. Draw me how I want to be seen. And sometimes, if you get lucky, I remember doing some sketches of people at a festival a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, I didn't think it was like amazing. But when I was finished, the guy was like, oh, you've drawn me how I would like to be seen. That was nice. And I don't think it was an excellent likeness, but it was a nice connection through drawing the stranger, and them feeling, kind of moved in that way. That was a lovely experience. Encouraging. All right. There's lots of shapes. I've drawn lots of shapes. Maybe I can feel some of these shapes. So there is similar to the first drawing, where like it looks like a different person. Maria, you look different this time. Oops, boom. But kind of like both of these, but they kind of could be different people, but both Maria. So similar to that, I can kind of fill these spaces with some ink. We don't really have a deadline. I'm thinking about 1 hour. So there's 6 more minutes until we reach an hour. So yeah, just fill in some of those spaces that have been set up with ink. And here, there's this really clear, clearly defined shapes. And then I might just grab a brush and fill in the hair and get a bit wet, because this paper really likes getting wet. So that would be a nice way to wrap up this drawing session. Yeah. Blackie Francis says that they're not allowed to draw the loved one. He can't stand being this intensely watched thing. That's yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting thing to to have grown into that kind of intense looking. I hosted life drawing sessions in our flat before we had kids, and I remember sometimes, especially the first time, it's kind of the clearest memory where our model, and a lot of our models, it was basically just from our circle of friends. So we do nude figure drawing, or people could stay dressed or get partially undressed, or one friend came in a full suit of armor. One friend came as a ballerina. But I remember that first time that this friend was just from all that intense watching, that there was like 20 people sitting around and them standing in the middle and just like sweating, just standing there, but just all the focus and energy. It was super interesting. And then like with the quick poses, like I can remember sweating, drawing so fast, and it's this super intense and a really interesting way of looking at someone and perceiving them, and it's I guess it's really kind of analytical, or the way you're looking and measuring, and it's an interesting way to be looked at, and an interesting way to look at people. Yeah, that's cool, Patrick. That unposed people who don't know they're being drawn are really relaxed and have natural poses. Stephanie had a question which I missed. Thank you, Shannon, for addressing it. With self-made ink, struggling with the flow of the ink. The ink stands on the paper until it's dried up. Yeah. Have you added binder, gum arabic or cherry sap to your inks? Because that affects the viscosity and the flow of the ink. So yeah, sometimes it just kind of pools, like you have this bubble of ink sitting on the page. So that is something that can change the consistency of the ink. Yeah. Oh, okay, so Shannon said, it's a paper absorbency thing. Stephanie says, don't think so, surface tension of the ink. Yeah, so play around with binder, because that can have a really, I remember making a lot of ink and not using binder and feeling like it's very watery, it takes a long time to dry, and then once I started adding binder, you can kind of experiment with it, because it really changes the flow of the ink. So that could be interesting. There's I'm not an expert on it, but I know that vinegar is a mordant, which helps pigment go into the fibers of a thing, and it's used a lot with textile dyeing and stuff, and can also, I've seen people doing natural ink work who more abstract kind of leaf prints and stuff, where they have like treated the paper with vinegar, and it draws in a different way. So adding vinegar may, it's not something I always do, but it's something I've done sometimes, and I think it's just good to experiment with lots of different kind of approaches to different things. It's 9 o'clock in my part of the world. But if you're happy to keep drawing, I'm not done yet, so I'll keep going a bit longer. Add a dishwashing liquid to the ink. What did that do? Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, alcohol. Very good, Shannon. I was just about to say that if you make if you put alcohol in the ink, it reacts really differently. I made berry ink last year from Virginia Creeper with I just let the berries steep in this like 99% alcohol, and it was ridiculous. It just went like right into the page. I couldn't get a crisp line because of the way it just was sucked into the page, and that was like instantly dry. So I couldn't change it and work with it. So that was an interesting experience, but I found it unusable. But if you have less, if you use less alcohol, then you can get a really nice, quick drying ink that goes into the paper quite nicely. So you could experiment with alcohol inks. But start with binder. What did the dishwashing liquid do? That's right, Roseanne. Baking soda and alum will change the pH, change the color. That's really cool. I think we'll just do a little something with a brush in some areas that I want to get this kind of mid-tone shadow thing going on here, and then can just kind of flood these dark areas. What have I got going on here? Oh, there's a little brown left over from some other ink. I'll just take some of the ink that's already on the page and spread it out a bit to keep it kind of subtle. So Eliza left, but it was Eliza, right, who asked the question about subtlety in the ink. So this is like the ink wash thing that you can add water and then have a much softer effect with the ink. And you can also like wet the page and then add ink into it, and it'll kind of bleed, explode out, and bloom into the wet shape. That's pretty cool. You can do some pretty spectacular things, but I also really enjoy and appreciate a kind of subtle build-up of layers sometimes. Oops. So we'll be wrapping this up soon, and maybe some people have somewhere to be. And I just wanted to mention, I put down in the comments below this, or the bit of information below. If anyone's interested in the Patreon tutorials or want to buy me a coffee, there's links down there for doing that. But otherwise, liking and subscribing to my channel, maybe sharing it, that would be super cool. And this is a cool place to play around with that kind of dropping ink into a wet area. Yeah, I'm gonna keep adding stuff to this YouTube channel, and hope that it will, continue to grow, and we do lots of cool things together. So by liking and subscribing and telling people or sharing stuff about it, that helps to be. Wow, look at that! Helps to just get people aware of what I and we are doing here. If you are another cool way to do that and to share is to when you're sharing your work on Instagram or whatever, you can use the hashtag drawing with Dylan. That's also the hashtag we use for the portrait sketch sessions. So if you follow that hashtag and use that hashtag, you'll get to see what people are posting from these drawing sessions. And you can tag me on Instagram. I'd love to share your work. And yeah, I think those are the things that I would like to say before we depart. And thank you everyone for coming and drawing along, hanging out in the chat. It's been really lovely having you here for my first live stream on my channel. And great to see so many familiar names who I know the faces of. We're going to say familiar faces, but it's just names, but I know so many of your faces. So great to see so many familiar faces. All right, maybe that could be it for now, maybe. There are some things I would kind of change a little bit or keep working on a bit. Like I think if the background was a mid-tone, that would be cool, kind of bring more attention to the face. So kind of seeing this angle here is a bit different. The space between here is a bit closer. So there's some things you could do to kind of tweak it and change it a bit. But I'm fairly content with this. It wasn't like the suffering I went through when I was drawing Kira earlier this week. So cool. What are people saying? People are saying nice things. Thank you for saying nice things. Very nice portrait, super cool. It has been a wonderful, fun time. It's been so nice hanging out and drawing with you. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned to hear any updates of future live streams and videos. I will move that so we can have a look here. Thank you very much, Maria, for your amazing reference photos, and congratulations for playing the little game, the 15,000 giveaway game. Yeah, it was it was a pleasure to draw you, and I look forward to sending these to you. Thank you so much. And anyone who would like to come and draw live and see each other and talk together in real time every Tuesday evening for me and Friday morning. I always post it on Instagram. We do the live portrait session, sketch session, so it'd be really awesome to have you come and draw with us. And it's been so wonderful seeing so many of you from the sketch sessions here. Will you see, Claire asks, will you see the finished pictures on Instagram if I keep working on it? Yeah, if I do, but maybe this is it. This is like there might be some little adjustments with this one, but otherwise these are going to stay like this, I think. So I'll post these on Instagram, and encourage you to do the same, and make sure that you tag Maria as well. And you can get za.maria_art, I think. You can see that on my profile because I've tagged Maria in my posts for this live stream. So tag me, tag Maria, hashtag drawing with Dylan, and thank you so much to each of you for drawing along. Here's me in big. Yeah, it's been really nice hanging out here and drawing with you, and I look forward to many more of these drawing sessions in the future, and can't wait to see your work. So I think that's about it. Have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful every day. Be kind, have fun. Thank you for being here. I shall see you either here, like and subscribe, or on a Tuesday or Friday sketch session maybe. It'd be really wonderful to hang out, meet you if I haven't met you already, and draw together. So thank you and good night.